I'd like to start this session by thanking everybody for coming on a busy day, and thanking everybody here at St Peter's in Orkney for organising the sunshine. When we looked at the skies yesterday and we saw the rain and the wind, we thought that this would not be a day for photography and filming, but thanks to everybody it looks really good. The topic is Skype, to mention a little bit about the use of Skype and the benefits of Skype. And it's really interesting when we think back to computers. In fact, thinking further back, I was remembering the year 1989, because that was the year I wondered if I could have some kind of mobile phone for a job I was doing. And I got this great big heavy box that I had to take in the car. So I took it in the car and it didn't work. And that's my first memory of a mobile phone back in 1989. And now, of course, we all have our mobiles and we use them for every possible use under the sun. There's no use at all that is so difficult that somebody hasn't yet found it. You know, you can be meeting someone off the boat, looking out of that beautiful view in the harbour. The boat could be coming in, you can speak to them on the boat, on the mobile, you can speak back and you can make your plans. And so people are very imaginative at finding uses of things. And when somebody had this brilliant idea that instead of having to get an ordinary telephone, that you had to dial people up and they might be in or they might not be in and you had no real idea who was at the other end, then instead of that you could not only see them when you were speaking on the phone, but that in addition it was free. I think if anybody had said that, nobody would have believed it possible. And even today, I don't know how they make it pay. Apparently, I read in the paper that the company that run the computer systems, Microsoft have actually bought out Skype for a large sum of money. So Skype must somehow be making money. But nobody seems to know how. People say advertising, but I'm not sure what it is they're advertising or why that makes money. But the wonderful thing about this is we get these free phone calls and we can see the people we are speaking to. Well, it really means that computers have changed, because when we use the word computer, you immediately think of some complicated gadget that mad scientists work on and program and design things. But instead of that, the computers become really human-centered, because now with Skype it's something that actually we can all use and anybody anywhere can use. So the challenge of the future is simply going to be, just as what happened with the mobile phone technology, to find all the hundreds, maybe thousands of different ways that you can kind of use Skype for particular people in particular circumstances. And the interesting thing about Skype is it's spreading around the world, and they don't need to advertise it, because every time somebody uses Skype and finds it works, they can then tell their friends and family. So somebody will speak to their grandchildren in Australia, for instance, and tell their relatives, and then other people can do the same. So it's really spreading. Apparently, I saw a figure which says there's over 600 million Skype users in the world, so it's really totally taken off. And it's certainly not marketing. They don't need to have huge adverts in the paper to tell you to use it. It's just simply that it works and it's free and people think that's great. Now, I think one of the interesting things that people will think about for the future is how, when you've started with Skype, how you can build up the next stages. Because once you can speak to people on Skype, you can show them pictures, for instance. You can show them pictures over the screen. Well, the next step then would be to actually send the pictures. You can send messages by Skype as well, of course. But it's really interesting then to think, well, can you then send links to particular sites? Can you send music, for instance, because we all like to share music? Or can you send links to YouTube sites? Because YouTube then, once you've got Skype as a means of communication, YouTube's a kind of wonderful pool of material, because you can find all the kind of old pieces of music that you thought nobody was left in the world who remembered them or nobody appreciated them, and you can find them. I was thinking the other day about the Billy Cotton Band Show, which some may remember, but possibly not everybody. We used to hear it every Sunday lunchtime. And I was wondering, well, in a few minutes through the internet, I discovered Billy Cotton's life story and clips and recordings, because various long out of date and long out of stock records of Billy Cotton, people had collected them and put them and copied them up onto YouTube. So really, with Skype, you've got the link around the world, and then with other resources like YouTube, you've got all these wonderful things that you can send to people. So I think, like, Skype is a kind of doorway, and what's going to be really interesting now around the world is all the new uses that people will make of it. And I'm sure that almost every day somebody is finding a new way to use it.